Good day, everybody. This is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and I present to you Coffee Talk with the listing pros in real estate. And my guest this week is Joel Garay from Connecticut. How are you?
Very good, Joe. How are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling as alive and as smiley as you are.
Good. That's what it be.
So, in full disclosure, this is my good friend Joel Garay, and I wanted him on this show because he's a lot of fun. He's got a burst of energy. He not only puts care and consideration into his work, but he is a real estate agent to be reckoned with in Connecticut. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Joel Garay, born and raised here in Connecticut. Grew up in Bridgeport. I've been in business since 2014, which is about 6 years full time now, and primarily work along Fairfield and New Haven County. So went to schools out here, grew up here, and just been trying to crush it with my team, my coaches, my mentors, consistently grow, hit these goals that everyone wants to hit. Just loving life, working to improve every day, every week, every month, every year.
Nice. So I've been watching you on social media. I know that we are colleagues in the same company, but you have really exploded in the last 3-4 months alone in listings. And I guess the operative word is, what is your secret sauce to listing real estate?
Absolutely. So, it's a great question. So many people have their own secret sauce, and I'll speak from me. For me, especially this year with all that's been going on with the pandemic, being grateful to have obtained mentors and coaching, I just realized that for me, relationships is everything. It's everything. And, I make a lot of calls, and, there are times where we generate business through however, market, whatever kind of marketing that we do. And there are times that, you'll get, for me, I get lucky and I'll call someone and they'll be ready to sell. But the majority of my listings, I've been getting about 1 to 2 per week, which is more than, I've had last year, which is awesome. And it's also a busy time. It's always about relationships. So if you ask about any of my listings, I can tell you everything about that client. Usually before I get them, unless I get lucky and get someone say, "Hey, Joel, I'm familiar with you and I'm ready and I need to sell now," just one thing. Most of my listings, I can tell you everything about my clients. So sometimes people look at it like, "Dang, you've been getting a lot more listings lately," and what they don't realize is that these listings with these owners, my clients, have been cultivated relationships for weeks, if not months, sometimes even years, before they're ready. So that's my secret sauce is really listening to people, being consistent in my follow-up, making calls and focusing on building relationships and not being, super pushy, but the relationships is what's really been getting the bulk of my listing so far.
How long do you think it takes to cultivate a relationship before someone says, "Hey, you know what, Joel, I want to recommend you. I want to use you"? I think there's something to be said for that. But how many, I know as a new agent, and every new agent probably thinks this, how long does it take to become that successful?
Oh, man. So that's a great question. And I think that would vary for everyone. It depends on how hard you're willing to work, how consistent, how patient you can be, and just be very open-minded to whatever it takes. Really, the mindset for me is just whatever it takes. Like, I want to be excuseless, and everything. I got mentors who wake up at 4 a.m. and do everything and do so much. So
I'm not one of those people that wakes up at 4:30.
No, me neither. I wake up early, not that early.
Unless I have insomnia. That's the only time I'll wake up that early.
Right. I'll say that the one commonality
what do you admire about that? Like the fact that they wake up so early. What you said, they're mentors, so obviously they're inspiring you to do something in your listing world. What are they inspiring you to do?
kind of like what I said earlier, just being excuseless, right? Like if you want to hit your goal, I'm all about what does it take? What does it take? I don't know what it takes, but if you're going to give your word to something and keep integrity in your word, the more you keep your word to yourself and to others, the more successful you'll be. We won't be perfect, but we'll restore our integrity in our word and we'll stay consistent. So for me, it's what it takes, right? Because it's no different than losing weight. I want to lose 10 pounds. Very easy to say. When you put that out there, right, it's like, oh, wait, now I have to diet. Now I have to do cardio. Now I have to lift weights. And so, and consistently, in addition to that, you have to keep consistently learning on top of it week by week and try trial and error, see what works, what doesn't work. So when all this is new, you're starting to really find out what it takes, what it really takes. Because in the beginning of the year, so many people have resolutions, and the second they feel that discomfort, they give up. But when you really analyze it, the next time you go back at it, it becomes easier because now you know. Now you're more familiar, and every time you attempt, it gets easier and easier. So it's no different for me than than cold calling. It sucks in the beginning, or you get better and you learn, and every time you get back at it, you get better because now you know what it takes. And until you get there, and now you become more successful, and now you're helping other people, giving advice on what to expect, so that it's a little easier for them to know what it really takes to get the listings, to be successful, to go on vacation, to help other people. So I just admire. I admire that my mentors get up early, are useless, and hit their goals. And when you realize how much more you can get done and what it really takes to hit that goal, because everyone wants the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, or all of the passive income investments, right? Your fan, whatever your goal is, there's no wrong. Whatever your why is, whatever your beliefs are, is what drives you. And so I think it's a matter of always, for me, asking myself, okay, whether it was easy, whether it was discomforting, what does it really takes? And until I complete that goal and hit those 10 pounds or hit those 5 listings this month or whatever it is, I can't say that I didn't know what it took until I get there. When I get there, I look back at what it really took, and now I know what it took. And now it's time to double down and keep going at it.
Well, you actually are more. You're very disciplined. You're out there. I see your posts on social media. I see what you're doing with now TikTok. I knew I was gonna touch upon that one too, and all your dance moves and all your crazy dance moves. But no, your people gravitate to you. And do you think they're gravitating to you because your secret sauce is maybe you, and not necessarily, I mean, or in addition to what you know, it's just that they're attracted to your personality and the relationships you carry with them?
I believe so, for sure. I do have a bit of a funny side, a goofy side. I think that it's important to be relatable. I think it's important to be down to earth and not come off so robotic, right? Like I can post stuff about real estate all day long, but there are times, like I got TikTok because of my daughter, so 14, and so she's just, she makes.
I can't get into it. I really can't get into it. I have a 10-year-old, and she's like this, and she's like this, and she's like that. And then sometimes she does it without no music, and I'm like, what are you doing? You look spastic that way. Come on, what's going on here?
But it's interesting. Like she keeps me updated on all the the trends and stuff, and I just kind of incorporate that. And I think like you said, the biggest thing or reason why I feel people gravitate towards me aligns with my biggest value, which is authenticity, right? Because if you're true to yourself and you're authentic, then you will attract those who are like-minded and who are okay with who you are and where you are in life, right? Who you are and where you are, and accepting that is very important, because we weren't in the same place a year ago, 5 years ago. And that's just it though, right? That's like the growth sometimes can be challenging to measure. Like, how do we measure our growth? We just know that as we continue to grow and hit our goals, we're not the same person as we were, yesterday or a year ago or a couple years ago. We just become the people that we need to be to hit our goals. And the more consistent we are with who we need to be to hit our goals, the more change gets created.
Yeah. And
So,
and it's true, because a year ago, if somebody told me that I was going to be on my, I think you're the 62nd or 63rd person that I've had on Coffee Talk. If somebody told me that I was going to have 63 shows so far, or 64 shows so far, I'd be like, you're crazy. This is not my interview pattern. This is not what I want to do, what I want to be. But I thought of it as a learning experience for listing agents such as yourself to grow with the advice of their colleagues. And for the people that are not in real estate, this show offers for you the opportunity to get to meet someone like Joel Garay, who is very much a part of his hometown or his other towns and surrounding towns. And here's a terrific human being that I would say that if I was a seller, I would give you the opportunity for an interview. And in that interview, one of the questions I would ask is, what kind of technology do you use to market your home?
mm-hmm.
So what kind of technology do you use, Joel?
Yeah. So listen, I'm 32. I love, social media. Aside from the MLS, honestly, I do everything and anything. I'm so open minded to doing everything until the job gets done. So when it comes to marketing, I'm a big believer in social media. So I'll do Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, whatever I need to do. I do mailers, signs, uh, getting into text messaging now. I do, like my coach, says, door knocking if I need to. I'm not I'm not afraid of anything and whatever it is that you need to get done, because I'm a big believer in relationships. So the more relationships and people you meet, and the more people you talk to, the higher the chances of you getting the job done. So that answers your question. There's nothing that I'm not going to entertain as far as
Well,
marketing.
you've been at this a fairly long time, like myself. And what I want to know is, what advice would you give to this viewer, this new agent viewer that's watching the show?
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give as far as real estate's concerned for a new agent?
Man, trying to narrow that down.
All right, so look back 6 years ago. What would you tell yourself 6 years ago, looking your future self telling your past self? What would you tell that person?
Yeah. So I'll say this because this is what comes to mind, and I feel like this is very important for me, and everyone else's challenges may be different. But I'll say that when it comes to being a new agent, um, as long as you know you did everything that you could to help the seller and to be your best, that's what matters, right? We get caught up on not winning every appointment, right? And then any agent can tell you they'll go on however many appointments before they get that listing. And as you grow to learn and become more efficient and effective, the closing rate will be better. But in the beginning, I think the biggest thing is to look at what worked, what didn't work, what you could have learned, and move on. Not get so stuck in the rut, because that's kind of wasted time. You want to don't get stuck in the rut. Don't beat yourself up and say this isn't for you. Keep learning, keep growing. So learn what you need to go learn. Go on have as many conversations as you can. Go on as many appointments as you can. See what you could do better. You're not going to win them all, and do the best that you can. Focus on conversion and later, but the biggest focus is learning and really building relationships with people, and don't beat yourself up, and you will get there. Your conversion will be there, your numbers will be there, but don't get stuck in that rut. Don't use the economy as an excuse or anything like that as an excuse. Be your best, and at the end of the day, if you did your best and you did your best, that's what matters. Wake up, see what you could improve on, do it again.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people, especially in today's environment, are blaming COVID for all their troubles. Here in New York, we have the governor's orders of do not call just got extended
Mm.
By the time this show airs, hopefully it'll be over. But this governor's mandate has been extended, and it might be extended well into the end of the year. Who knows? But people, new agents, think that cold calling is the end all be all of their business. Uh, I have found there are other methods of winning, even in a new agent environment. Besides what we normally do as cold callers, do you recommend other resources for new agents?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I want to touch on this real quick because, you know, before COVID, I would go to the cigar lounge and you'd be surprised how much business I would get at the cigar lounge, or now we can for sure. So touching on what we can do, it's really stepping outside of what we're so used to doing, even if calling is uncomfortable for some, going to the grocery store, meeting people, leaving cards, really doing what you can. I'll leave my card in between two cans, if in case someone sees it, and you never know. It's insane.
Wait. I gotta explain that one. With 2 cans of what?
Yeah, 2 cans of beans or something or whatever.
Oh, in the grocery store.
I'll if I have to. Yeah, I'm just whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. And you know what?
Wait,
I'm gonna do that.
is it still there?
No, I haven't done it yet, but I'm just saying this is something that I'm willing to do. I'm going to do that because I would love to.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Imagine a call.
Well, the guy who's stocking the shelves or the girl who's stocking the shelves could probably call you for an apartment. You're right.
Yeah, imagine getting a call and say, "Hey, I got your card between 2 cans, and you sold my house." What? That's like the best story ever. So
I'm the best thing since 2 cans of Source.
I would love to share that story. I left my card in between 2 cans of beans, and I sold the house. Can't beat it. And then more referrals came from that.
That is so awesome. I never even thought of leaving the cards there.
Yeah, right. Like was the store manager going to call me and say, "Hey, you left your card. Don't do that."
Oh, sir, I'm gonna put a price on you next time you.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But I know you put on the back of your card. You can't put a price on me. I like that one. Oh, I like that. I'm getting creative with this idea already.
You get creative, right? And this is the best time to get creative with your marketing. If you were so used to cold calls, and I get that it's effective, right? It's effective in efficient calling tons of people.
Right.
But now is a great time to flex, your creativity and do mailers, leave your cards in the apartment complexes or stores or high traffic areas, or do bandit signs, or maybe call your sphere of influence, which is a big one for me, calling your sphere, seeing who needs help, what you can do to help.
But a lot of new agents don't have a sphere yet. So what do you recommend as far as, I don't know, trying to build up a sphere?
So I would say that
for all agents, not just those here in New York,
Yeah, I would say your sphere is every single person in your contacts list. You want to reach out to them, right?
That's your sphere.
That's your sphere. Yeah, you already know them. It's probably a warm call. Say, "Hey, my name is so and so," or they already know your name.
Or, "Hey, this is Joe, and how are you, Joel?" I am.
How you doing? Right, and then say, "Hey, listen. By the way, I'm in real estate and working hard to sell. If you know anyone who's interested in selling anything, I can do for you. Keep me posted." I just, I would go cut my clients, like help my client move or cut grass. But for me, those are the things that, like, I did that recently, and I had no expectations. I did it because I care, because I'm a genuine person. I want to help people, and when I did it, without me realizing, I got a referral from it. So I got another listing, and this guy's like, they speak so deeply about you, right? When like, wow, he's my agent, and he helped me move, or he helped me this, or he did that, or they did this. And so, when someone speaks about you organically in a moving way, it really makes that referral want to call you. And when I get a referral, especially, I make it a point to go to that appointment and develop that relationship. Right, develop the relationship. Some people are a little easier. They just want to sell the house or get the house sold in 2 seconds, no problem. Other people, most people, because I don't have too many coworkers. So a lot of times I find myself hanging out with, with my clients afterwards. We'll go grab a drink and, and just celebrate the sale and how smooth it was. It wasn't the greatest in my first year or even my second,
Right.
but lately this year it's been a challenging one for sure, and just doing the best we can.
But
So
you
yeah,
are unquote unquote killing it right now in your market.
trying to.
You are. Don't be modest. And very proud of you. Very, very proud of my friend. And I celebrate my friend whenever we talk. And I see that you've developed a lot of strong, solid relationships as an older person in real estate now, that an experienced person. What would you say to an experienced person like me, who's been in the business over 30 years now? What would you what kind of advice would, as you're looking at us older in the business, what would you give us as advice if you had to?
Mhm. So for me, it would really, I mean, I would like to individualize it as much as possible to see, where they are in the business. But in this business with seasoned agents, I would say it's tough. Keep growing. Keep growing. Don't stop, no matter what. Don't stop, because you'll get to a point where you'll know like where you need to be. Everything just feels right. Everything feels like it's moving and transitioning. I know for me, this year has been a year of so much growth. I had to hire an assistant. Never thought I would hire an assistant. Thought I could handle everything. I'm waking up earlier, getting more done than I ever did, and I'm still hiring an assistant. You
I
know,
told somebody the other day that real estate is not like a Supreme Court nomination where you're there till you're dead. There is a part of your career where you have to just say, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to sit back, relax. I had a
yeah.
great career, but now I have to just be a mentor for the younger ones in real estate that want to achieve what I've achieved and maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
I was just telling this to somebody the other day about how there's no such word as retirement in our profession. But when you're listing a home, is
Yeah.
it good to, you know, have a balance between experience and newness of the agent? I mean, what is best for the consumer? Do you think listing with an older agent or a new agent is important? How effective is one or the other?
Yeah, no. So I definitely think that there's something to be said about experience. There's something to be said about um, an agent's eagerness, really willingness to work hard for someone, and ultimately, I think what takes it all is again the connection that you have. Because as a new agent in the beginning, I had asked the seasoned agent what advice would he give me, and he said, what do you feel your strong points are? And I said, I think I'm very personable. I communicate very well, you know. And he goes, use that, because the experience and everything else will follow. He goes, Joel, you have me if you need to learn how to fill out a contract. You have me if you need to learn how to do this or that. But the reason that things ended up working out was because when someone, and again, this is just my advice and it would work for me, when people like you, they'll listen to you and they'll trust you. So continue to build that relationship, because in the beginning I knew nothing, but I was very likable. I was personable, went out to coffee, and they really liked my vibe, the connection that I ended up cultivating with them. And then they really listened at that point. If I had any issues, I had no problems calling my mentor, hey, how do I do this and do that? And I agree, just to piggyback off of what you said earlier, there is a point where we want to kind of kick back. You've been a year in the business for a while. I don't want to be an agent for over 15 years myself. It's up to you if you love that stuff. So you can delegate your business and your team or whatever. But I want to create enough passive income in my life so I can retire.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We got frozen at the best part. Move that around. Move that around.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to work with more EXP agents, bring them on, help them because I want to address any issues, any concerns, make sure people feel good about what they're doing, how they're doing it, growing their goals, their business, helping their families. And that, in the end of the day, if you had all the money, for me, it's about like fulfillment and purpose while I'm on this planet. Because Joe, if we were to give you if you were Jeff Bezos and we were to give you all the money in the world, you would do everything that anyone would think of: invest, have an immense amount of passive income, travel. But then what's left?
I think I would honestly, after having all that fun, I think I would probably, well, most likely, knowing the kind of person I am, I think I would create. I said this to somebody once and they looked at me like, what? How does that work? I would create a charity that just kept on giving. Something that has to just keep on giving to people less fortunate, give them an opportunity to grow as I did, and keep helping people, because that's what I like to do. I like to help people grow and achieve their goals and achieve their dreams. I'm an instructor, as you may or may not know, and I'm more of let's take this new person and give them the best habits we can possibly give them. And a lot of new agents grow up, unfortunately, learning bad habits, and then they fall, and that's why the success rate in real estate is that high, in failure rather than in success for new agents coming into our industry. Here you are, 6 years in. What's the next 5 years look like for you?
So
that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But as a lister, what does that look for you as a lister, though? I'll narrow it down to listings, because this is our teaching show of listings.
Sure. So I know that I have I take it a quarter at a time, a year at a time. I have a certain goal. I have a goal, some goals that I want to hit in regards to how many listings I want to take. With the amount of listings that you get also comes a certain amount of like acknowledgement from society or from where you live. And I'd like to create a team where we operate in the same way with our listings and grow our team to do a service for our community. Because at the end of the day, people will have to list with someone. You will have to list with someone. You want to sell, you're going to have to sell or eventually sell with someone or hire someone. And I'd like to operate in a way in our community that is just not just authentic, but really like speaks powerfully, to who we are and our integrity over here at EXP and how we operate, and ultimately delegate to my team. And in the next 5 years, have enough passive income to where I can reassess my goals. Possibly, I say retire, but again, we're never going to stop working.
Never.
Especially, I mean, at my age, I got like, 4 or 5 more years before I hit my retirement goal. At that point, I have to reassess. But I've always, like you, I figured out from a young age that I really want to help people. I could have all the money in the world and do it all, but at the end of the day, helping people is what's going to give me my purpose and leave my legacy behind, and in hopes that can rub off to others. And now we are more unified and better as a world.
It's true. Amen. If you had to pick one of the fiduciary responsibilities, this is my last question, always a question on this show, to teach, to maybe inspire somebody on this program, which one is your favorite of the fiduciary responsibilities when we talk about old car obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, or reasonable care? I know they're all important, but which one would you pick, Joe Garay?
I would say, off the top of my head, I would say accountability. In your word, I would say if you are going to do something and you say you're going to do something, do it. Whether it's a promise to yourself, waking up, promise to a client, especially to clients, when you say you're going to do something, do it. The more that you do that, the more successful you'll be. So accountability is very, very important. Keeping your word to yourself and to other people. I would say for me, I would say that one.
Awesome. Well, we're just about out of time, but I wanted to thank you. You have such a great career. and more to come. More surprises out of social media for you. And I know you're going to kill it, not just the rest of this year, but in 2021. I wish you a lot of success, my friend. And thank you for being my guest on Coffee Talk this week.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Joe Sonona coming to you live with Joel Garay from Connecticut, a good friend of mine. And this has been Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros in Real Estate. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.